G'day guys, welcome back to the 7 Tackle Set NRL Tipping Show brought to you by Star Sports Australia. I'm your host, Brano, joined by the SC Whisperer to bring you our tips ahead of round 6 of the NRL, mate. Obviously, we've been tracking our numbers in the background. I actually haven't had a look at how we're going on the old ESPN footy tipping where we're tracking it all, but you guys left me behind last week. I had a night off and you tipped Brian To'o to go over. He did score, but the unders got the unders got you in that Penrith game.
Penrith took the overs just themselves. So yeah,
Yeah.
look, not the performance I wanted from the Storm, but hey, we're on to another week. Yeah, tipping going well. Took Manly last week, and tried to outthink the room. Took the Dragons, didn't go too well. Took the Raiders against the depleted Knights, but apart from that, did pretty well. I think I got 5 out of 8, so not too bad. But yeah, the big one, mate. I think I had it last week. I had Tigers Easter specials. They got the job done at like $2.20. So how good?
Yeah, good value. Good value. There's a bit of value floating around this week ahead of round 6, so let's make sure we dive into that. Of course, all of the prices are correct at time of recording, and we've got the first game Thursday. It is the Penrith Panthers coming up against the Bulldogs, and there's a 15.5 spread that's been given to the Bulldogs in this game. It's a little bit of a head start, don't you think? And we were talking off air that maybe this might be something you might want to dabble with.
Yes, absolutely no interest in the head-to-head market. Penrith is my tip, but taking the Dogs plus 15.5 is something I've got a little bit of interest in. But then again, Melbourne looked like a reserve grade side against the Panthers last week, and I think Melbourne are a lot better than the Dogs, so maybe it's not a wise investment. But yeah, look, Panthers $1.10 head-to-head tipping, like that's I'm just never not tipping them. I think it'll be 24 weeks of me tipping Penrith this week.
Yeah, it's a free tip. It's a free tip every single week. The way they're playing at the moment, they've been elite, and the Dogs have been in a little bit of trouble so far this year. So I think it's a pretty safe one to take. Just no value in this game, sadly, from a betting perspective, unless you're taking the handicap there. But I might let this one pass through to the keeper, I think, and move on to the next game. It is the Sea Eagles. They're at $1.40, playing against the Dragons, $2.78. They've had crisis meetings, Josh, the Dragons. Does that mean we're going to see a bounce back? And is there a chance of us being able to maybe nearly triple our money on the Dragons this week?
I think I've tipped the Dragons every week they've played, apart from Vegas. I think I've always looked
well
at them.
for you then.
Yeah, I do doing wonders. I always look at them being like, what if this is the week? And this could be the week. I might. No Gutho at the back. They got a bit of speed with Sloan at fullback. Got Kyle back. Got obviously Atco at 6. Manly off the back of obviously Fosball in full swing. If this was anywhere other than Brookvale, I would actually take the Dragons here. But Brookie Friday night, I'm there. I'm there on Manly.
Yeah, me too. And the beauty of it is we've got our 7 tackle set exclusive same game multi for you as well this week. It is Setu 2 to score a try, Tom Trbojevic anytime try, and Lehigh Hopewadi, and that will get you $7.50 if you use the code SCI when you sign up at starsports.com.au. Use that code and $7.50 for 2 Tom Trbojevic and Lehigh Hopewadi to score.
$5.80 at other corporates. So yeah, using code SCI, starsports.com.au/sign up with the code SCI. Yeah, you're getting a far better price than you'll get elsewhere. But yeah, Setu, he's back. Tom Trbojevic obviously doing incredible things, and Lehigh floating around in the Supercoach circles as a bit of a play. But as always, what are you gambling with? Free and confidential support. Call the number on the screen or visit gamblinghelponline.org.au. But yeah, mate, moving back into this one, Broncos off the back of a pretty good win. I did call up Star Sports at halftime and said, can I place some money on the Titans? They were paying $3.50, and that went really well for me. So not good. But the Broncos, look, without Walsh, with Adam Reynolds under an injury cloud, Payne Haas obviously dealing with the shoulder. But they expect Reynolds to play, and Haas is obviously suiting up against the Cowboys, who are, I'm not going to say flying, but they're improving. Mm-hmm. We'll say that. They get the coaches award at the end of the season for like that kid that like just got the most improved. I got that one plenty of times growing up. The Cowboys most improved for the last 2 weeks, but Broncos $1.58, Cowboys $2.25. There's a little bit of value in the Cowboys, but I'm probably sticking with the Broncos here.
Yeah, I think it's hard to go away from the Broncos unless we do see Adam Reynolds out late. That could change things for me for sure. Obviously with Jesse Arthur's up the back as well, like he hasn't played a lot of fullback over the last few years. He's predominantly been on the wing, so maybe we'll see a little bit of a change defensively from them. Yeah, I think it's going to be closer than people think, and of course the markets are reflecting that. But I'll take the Broncos for whilst Reynolds is in. I tell you what, though, I do not mind Helum Luky running over Ezra Mam close to the line at $3.30. So that's something that I might dabble with as well. Helum Luky's definitely been in some great form. Rabbitohs, $1.45 favourites coming in against the Raiders at $2.60. And look, the Rabbitohs are a really hard team to read for me this year. Like they're obviously I think they're in fourth overall. On the ladder at the moment, they've been playing some good footy. They come against the Raiders, who are 1-4 at the moment, and are in all sorts. The Rabbitohs should win this game, but again, it's about maybe the Rabbitohs being as reliable as David Fafita's blisters. I'm not quite sure how to read this one. Where are you looking?
Yeah, I played in Perth as well, keeping in mind as well. I've not played at Rabbitohs home ground, but it is in Perth. But yeah, the Raiders have been really disappointing for me this year. Again, eked out a 1-point win against the Manly side, who their form suggests are not good and will be challenging for the bottom half of the table if things don't improve under Foreign. And the Raiders, they just don't really have anything to swap around and change. Like, I had a whinge on Twitter about the Raiders naming the same team, but they just don't have anyone to pick from. So that's the biggest concern. But yeah, look, favorite backer, I'm going to go the Rabbitohs. That left is really, really good. We saw both edges have really good success last week against the Raiders. So backing a big game from guys like Fafita up against Noah Martin, obviously Trell and Cody and the likes doing their thing. Big one, Brandon Smith is back as well. Not sure what impact it has on the Rabbitohs, but he'll definitely be better for the run this week. And to see him back is good for a footy fan as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely lifts them for sure. Sharks, mate, they come up against the Roosters, $1.94 into $1.77 favourites, the Roosters in this one, which is actually really surprises me, coming off the back of the Sharks playing some pretty decent footy over the last few weeks. The Roosters have been very hit and miss, very hot and cold. It is in Perth again, so the double header, you got Rabbitohs Raiders first game, Sharks Roosters second game, and you know, you got to factor that in, a little bit of extra travel. No one really has a home game advantage. Yeah, you're pretty much looking at it even, aren't you? Handicaps -1.5. I don't know. I'd probably lean towards taking the Sharks in this one, personally. Where are you at?
Yeah, I'm just going back and rejogging my memory. The teams off the bye, who had the bye in round 4? It was the Rabbitohs, and they won last week up against the Dogs. So the teams off the bye are 2-2, so not sure I can read too much into that. It's going to be interesting because I think this is going to be one in the forward pack. You've obviously got like guys like Nafahu White up against Adam Finnell-Blake and Toby Rudolph and whatnot. I just think there's going to be enough of a platform set from the Sharks to maybe see them get the win in this one, but it might be quite scrappy. Like, I wouldn't be shocked if this is a game where I just take the unders. I might be like a Sharks into an unders double type play on this one. So that's where I'm thinking.
Where's the unders set? 50.5 the unders are set at as well, which is a pretty decent number.
The Roosters can't attack and they can defend semi-okay, so that's where I'm thinking, but I just think the platform the Sharks forwards might lay just probably might be a bit too much for the Roosters. Fresh off the bye, travelling to Perth.
Yep, like that. The Storm, $1.30 favourites at Amy Park, coming off a flogging. Craig Bellamy's absolutely would have put a rocket up him during the week, and I think this is pretty reflective of where I think this one's going to go. I'm tipping the Storm. I'm not really thinking twice about this one. There isn't much analysis to go into it, really. I think Sua Falongo probably has a big game against the Warriors. It's a pretty easy decision for me. Back the Storm in.
Yeah, I think the line in this one's 9.5, and I'll be definitely taking the Storm with the line. I just think that they win. The question is by how many. So yeah, really keen on the Storm this week.
Yeah, and then we move into the Sunday games, mate. We've got the Eels come up against the Titans, $1.58 favourites, the Eels. Obviously decimated by injury for the most part as well. They're still missing Isaiah Yongi, and Joash Papali'i's done a pretty serviceable job against the Tigers last week. And now they're missing guys like Bailey Simonson, Sean Russell. They're all out. The backline, bit of a shake-up. The Titans, you said at the start of the show that you kept... who was the live bet you put on? Was it the Titans?
I took the Titans at halftime, yeah.
The Titans are the team that actually, no, it was the Dragons that you keep tipping because you think that they're going to surely they're going to win soon. That's the Titans for me. Every week I feel like I tip the Titans thinking, is now the right time? Because they're due. And, Jaden Campbell's been playing good footy. I feel like this could be the week that the Titans get a dub.
I laugh because I'm also the same. I'll be having a few spondulas on the Titans at $2.25. Surely, like, this is the week. Has to be.
if it's not the week, then they just should probably pack it up and see
My
you in
Tino propaganda is
2027.
going into overdrive.
Yes. And then, of course, as Tigers supporters, mate, we'll be watching this one closely. This one's at Campbelltown Stadium. $1.63 favourites. When's the last time you remember the Tigers coming into a game as favourites, especially against the Knights, who are no mugs themselves? They're in the top 8 this year as well, playing some pretty good footy.
Second and third. Battle of the heavyweights. Who would have thought that? The Tigers, the Rabbitohs, and the Knights making up 75% of the top 4. It's crazy. Last time we played at Campbelltown, you and I went and we drank many beers to numb the pain of Greg Marzu. I think he scored a double that day and we lost. But we're better for it. It's really interesting, right? Because I think like we're quite a resilient team at the moment, and the Knights are playing very free flowing footy. So it's going to be a really, really good matchup in terms of like the grittiness of the Tigers and that free flowingness of the Knights. I feel like this is the week to try and get them. With no Ponga, no Brown, but of course they did really good things against the Raiders. Again, what do you put into the Raiders form line? I'm not putting a whole lot. I'm taking the Tigers purely because it is at home Sunday afternoon. Feels quite right. If this was at McDonald Jones, I'd be tipping the Knights.
Mind you, we're not good at Campbelltown, so
No,
I don't.
Every game at Leichhardt, we'd win the comp. If we played every game at Leichhardt, we would win the comp.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. I'm a little concerned. We did play against the Knights in that game that you mentioned at the start of last year. I think it was round 1, round 2. They ended up beating us, and it was depressing. I'm a little concerned. I don't like tipping against my boys. I will take the Tigers, and I'll tip the Tigers this week. But I'm a little bit worried that this could be a bit of a boil over after.
If I said to you, here's $100, put it on the game, and you keep whatever wins, would you take the Tigers?
No, I'm a pessimist supporter though. Like, I would. I'll take the Tigers. I think we're still good enough. But that is our tips for this week. Follow along. We'll keep sharing our results as we go, and of course, if you want to get involved in starsports.com.au/sign up, use that code SCI to get involved there, and that will repeat that exclusive same game multi for 7 tackle set as well. It is the Dragons against Manly on Friday 6 p.m. It is Setu 2, Tom Trebojevic, and Lehigh Hopewadi to score. You'll get $7.50 on that one. So, guys, that will wrap us up. Thanks for tuning in. Give it a thumbs up if you like the show, of course, and we will see you next week for much of the same. Catch you then.